G'day guys, I'm going to show you some telephone line transpositions which are from Australia. So these two things here are two different types. So what they'd be used for is to cross the wires over like that. Wait, I'll show you better. So to cross the wires over, say if the one that came in here would go down to that one, and the one that came here would go to that one, and as you can see, they're a bit, one's high and one's low, so they don't touch. And these would be used in lines with more than two actual individual lines, because if you have like three of them or something, you'll get crosstalk, which is a like fuzzy white noise between them. So if I just continued the wires straight and there was one here, this wire that was going straight here would get crosstalk from the one here. So just to prevent that, they cross that one over to there, so it doesn't get crosstalk from this one, and that one over to here, so it doesn't get crosstalk from the one over there. So yeah, so and then about um at, at most, or something, at least two, I don't know, every second pole is the minimum, like the maximum that they could have one. So they'd have one here, and say on the second pole after, like the pole after the next one, could have another one. So, and maybe that wire that went to here could cross over and go over to there. So yeah, but if it didn't go on that one, it would go to the about fourth pole along to have the next one. So on each pole, you'd find maybe more than one. This one isn't. I'll talk about that one in a second. This is about this. You bolt this into the crossbar like that. It holds 4 insulators. It's made by Townsend and Parker in Melbourne. So is the other one, and it's made of aluminium. And that's a really bad noise. I don't like that sound. But see the insulators unscrew off. It's still shiny here, which is good. And yeah, it's aluminium. And you can screw, all of them screw off on here. And they're KP72, Costa's Pottery 1972. Costa's Pottery went out of business in 1978. So so this has got a coach bolt which goes into a square shaped thing, so you only need one spanner if you want to take these. Since they were loose, I just used another insulator, individual one, and bashed the top of the insulator at the nut, and that undid it for me. And yeah, that worked really well. So all 4 insulators are Costa's Pottery 1972. I've got 3 identical of these transposition things, or crossovers, whatever you call them. And so, but they have different insulators on each one. So yeah. Next one. This one is different. It's made by the same company, but this one you don't bolt onto a crossbar, as you can see. So this just hangs in the middle of the wire, just like that. So if there was a place that had a really long distance to span between the poles, and if you didn't want crosstalk there, you just put this, and the wires would still cross over. And usually they wouldn't tie them on, but just because it's tight enough, but sometimes they would. In America, they've got these too, but with different insulators. The older ones of these would have ceramic insulators, but these newer ones have these useless plastic ones which just split when the pins rust. And these two here are actually seized on. You can't even turn them. These ones are also seized onto the bolts, but not into the whole frame. So they're held in by a split pin. I didn't take this one or find this one. I bought it from someone. So yeah, this is interesting. These ones are really hard to find. The other ones are easy to find, easy enough if you've got telephone poles around. So yeah, so this just hangs in the middle of the wire like that, without anything to hold it there. It just hangs there and does the same. It cross over like that. And again, the insulators are at 2 different heights. So yeah, these, and also this one, as you can see, it's a bit bent here. It's actually meant to be like that because when it's bolted into the crossbar, the holes are usually that much spaced apart. So, yeah, they had to bend it so it fitted like that into the holes. And yeah, so some of the other ones are the same frame but have points here instead of open holes. I haven't got one of them. All my three are exactly like this one. And here they have these bolts which you can take off with these washers that push up a bit, like bent up a bit, so they hold into the crossbar without moving. And yeah, that's all. So they're really interesting. Not many people have them. They're pretty, well, they're not super duper easy to find. Half the lines you find won't actually have them, but a lot of them also will. If it has multiple crossbars, you'd likely find these along there somewhere. But I don't know where you possibly find these. The guy found them, but I don't know where you'd find them because they wouldn't be on the poles because they don't go on the poles. So yeah, he must have found it on the ground because he probably did because it's dirty. And yeah, I've never found one. I want to find one, and I've never even seen one in use before. But I've seen pictures of them being used in like America and stuff like that. So yeah, these ones I have seen being used. I took this one, and so did I took the other two as well. And yeah, that's some. Also, there is the older models. There's like 2, 3 more older models. I'm aiming to get one of those ones because I know where there is some, and I'm gonna try and get them next time. And yeah, so older ones are also made of steel, metal, galvanized rather than aluminium. So yeah, that's the Australian telephone insulator line thing, Transpositions. Alright, see you later.